Is the ego friend or foe, and why does it matter? My name is Vital Germain. I'm a 6-time author, speaker, and life coach. If you consider the superego or ID, which is fundamentally a part of your character personality traits from birth, it's an innate trait that you have. Now, it all depends on how you leverage your ego, because it can be both negative and positive. Here's where it really becomes positive, and this is what I want to focus on. Your ego is what fuels your drive, your ambition, your conviction in life. It's what gets you over hurdles because your ego is determined to survive, to succeed. It's a very powerful tool if you are able to leverage it. So how do you leverage your ego to your gain and to bring value to the lives of others? First of all, you have to understand and acknowledge your ego and how it impacts your decision-making, your behavior. Now it becomes a question of emotional intelligence or self-awareness. How is the ego impacting the way you show up and interact in your relationships, in your decision-making? That's the crucial component, self-awareness. It's through that self-awareness and the element of empathy, which means you're not making it all about you, because the ego is associated with purely the self. So that's where empathy comes and plays a crucial role. So when you combine self-awareness, empathy, which includes love, respect, and those type of character traits, caring about somebody else, that's when the ego becomes somewhat of a superpower. Because you can still be ambitious and driven, you can still be focused on thriving and surviving without having to crush other people because you are insensitive, blinded, or unaware of how your behavior impacts them. That's when the ego is your friend, when you are acutely aware of how it's controlling you or affecting you. Now, on the flip side of the coin, oftentimes the ego has a negative connotation. Why? Because our ego tends to get in the way of doing what's right for the bigger picture. If your ego overwhelms your emotional intelligence, your conscience, your subconscious, then it prevents you from doing the things that are both beneficial to yourself and to others. You'll find that people with large egos, OMG, what an ego. You'll find that those type of people are driven purely by total selfishness. And when that selfishness gets out of control, goes too far, obviously then we call them narcissists. That's really when the ego becomes negative and detrimental. It's all a question of how you leverage that, the intentions in which you show up with your ego. That's a personal choice. Will it be your friend or will it be your foe? Having said all of that, warning sign. But before I share that warning sign, consider this. For more detailed descriptions and insight on the ego, check out my website. I've written several blogs about this topic, and it's also subconsciously throughout the threads of my multiple books. And of course, don't forget to like, follow, or subscribe. Warning sign! Sometimes people will accuse you of having an ego. It could be because they're trying to manipulate you into feeling bad or guilty about your behavior and your decisions, even if your decisions and behavior is not negative. Watch out for those people. Why? Because it's their ego overtaking them and not allowing them to do what's right. Now you know. And along your journey of exploration, self-discovery, and growth, never stop believing. Cheers.